BCLEARTV.
BCLEARTV. Can you hear us loud and clear?
Can you hear us loud and clear? Hi everyone, this is AmeerahCleara on BCLEARTV. I am sitting here with this young gentleman that goes by the name of Brandon McGee.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm great. Glad to be on air with you.
We are very happy that you agreed to do the show and sit down with us.
Absolutely.
This is a pleasure to see you again. Now,
Likewise.
I've seen you before,
Yeah.
but now I get to see you.
Right. Live and in person, in action.
Yes, and
Yes,
we
ma'am.
love you wearing our shirt. You look
Be
nice.
clear. Some other little stuff, but we'll handle that.
Absolutely. You are so funny. So it's always like, weird when you see people all the time on TV or platforms and such, and then you meet them in person.
Yeah.
And it's like,
You really get to experience like all of Brandon McGee.
yes. Wow. Like, can we take a moment to breathe?
Oh, she knows how to boost you. You go up.
I'm just being clear. So
I like that.
we're gonna get started though.
Yes, ma'am.
First, I want to start with where are you from?
Born and raised in the city of Hartford,
Okay.
Hartford's north end. Started off in Stowe Village, moved around the corner to Barber Street,
Wow.
282 to be exact. Moved to Cabbage Street, just rattling off some streets.
So you're from?
I'm from Hartford,
the
West
Hartford.
Village, and then my grandmother, God bless her soul, she built a habitat home, two-family, and she moved her entire family into that house, that home that I now own.
That's awesome.
Which I purchased out of her estate. So I've been in Hartford all my life. Had the pleasure of going away to college in Alabama, scholarship, and came back.
I saw that. And in Alabama, you got your bachelor's?
Yep.
In science.
In science, political science.
Yes,
Yep.
yes.
So that's me. I always wanted to be an attorney, a civil rights attorney.
You took the words out of my mouth. Keep going.
But my wife, I met her. She's the better half, smarter person. She has all the goods, right? So I just show up. But she's the attorney in our family. And I just figured, you know what? I'll be the little lonely elected official. And anytime I need somebody to help me out, I always go to my wife who advocates for women of color. She advocates for their rights around healthcare. Currently working over at Legal Aid. But I'm just really, really excited about her future.
Right. Now, well, shouts out to your wife.
Yeah.
She, Gerline, right?
Geraldine.
Geraldine. I'm sorry. Geraldine.
No, it's all right. My
Behind-
mom sometimes call her Geraldine.
Geraldine.
I'm like, Mom, we've been married for 6 years.
I'll be mad too. Like, why am I getting my name right?
But she's everything.
You guys are a great team. It's always a strong woman behind a strong man,
That's a
and
true statement.
vice versa.
Because there's certain things that I'm unable to do that she could do.
That she can do.
And she really helps me out a lot. As a matter of fact, I'm sure we'll get into this, but on my campaign for mayor here in the city of Hartford, she plays a very integral role when it comes to a lot of my messaging and policy, and just really making sure I stay to the course as we begin to share my vision for the city. So, Geraldine,
Now this is big. So this is the role of every, I want to say politician, mayor, president. The woman behind them is actually making sure they're dotting their I's and crossing their T's.
That's it.
That's
Because I read Michelle Obama's book, and a section of the book, I bought it for my wife, but then I was like, I want to see what this is about.
Right.
And she talked about how she didn't even believe Barack Obama would win. She was like, this man ain't gonna win. She literally said it in the book.
Right.
And finally, when it resonated, and she's like, oh my God, there's hope, there's an opportunity.
Right.
She did exactly what you just said, making sure he was good. Likewise, my wife, she does that as well, including being a mom to both our kids. So I'm fortunate.
God bless her. You
Unfortunate.
chose the right woman.
Tell me about it. I thank God every day. I'm like, thank you, Lord. Could have been worse. Thank you, Lord. But yeah.
That's good. Well, the Lord sees what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
He knows you need a good mate.
Oh, yeah.
So, God, He blessed you with her. So,
I'm going to work on you.
Well, please.
I'll send you a couple of my frat brothers.
Please, I need him to work on me. You know, I need to work on the right tree this time.
You got it.
But to back it up a little bit, you are from Hartford. You did get your bachelor's in science in Alabama.
Yep.
You also came back and
got my master's at Curtis Magnus College.
Yes.
And they had a program over there, a new program. Got my master's in organizational development and leadership. It's funny, you spend all this money on these degrees, and you be like, what's the name of it?
I know. No, honestly, it's a lot of information that you have to install here and always keep in mind and refresh. You have to stay on top of it. It seems like your wife is the type of person that stays in
She's the detailed person.
She stays into it to keep that going. And it's hard work. So.
Yeah.
But
you did your homework.
I did do my homework.
Like that.
Let's be clear.
I got that. You need a hashtag though.
But you know what? You were inspiring from years ago. I mean, me and you had spoke on social media, like a couple of years ago. I mean, it had to be like 2015, maybe.
That's crazy. I hope I ain't saying that crazy.
No, of course not. You're not a crazy guy. Then I ran into you at the Cheesecake Factory.
Yes.
I feel like a celebrity. I'm walking in and he's like, hey. I'm like, hey. It was awesome. You know, you're in the community meeting good people.
That's what's up.
So when I was like, I gotta get them to sit down and do the show.
Yeah.
So, how old are you?
35.
You're 35.
Yeah.
Can we toast? Where's my cup?
I got a cup.
Toast to you're 35. Oh my God, I love it. So you are still young.
Very.
You have some time. You've accomplished so much. You've done a lot, which we're gonna get into later on. Mm-hmm. But I just wanted to get that out there. So
I appreciate that. Sometimes you get into your zone and you want to remain focused, but sometimes you have to slow down to stop and reflect,
right?
And really appreciate all of the opportunities that I've had.
Right.
And my wife had to remind me, my wife and my mother, like, yo, you did a lot. Chill out. Right. You don't have to be so hard on yourself.
Right.
You know, but in the world of politics, sometimes you're always super critical. And I'm sure you are as well.
Right.
Super critical of yourself and always trying to advance.
Well, people judge you a lot. And when they see you striving for stars, they want to stop you. They don't want you to get there. So it's like
hateration is real.
Yeah, you start hating yourself because. But I always tell people, I don't care if you sound crazy. Mm-hmm. Lock yourself in your room and talk to yourself. Mm-hmm. Remind yourself.
That's good.
Who you are. Yep. What was your purpose and what you were doing.
Wow.
What someone else thought to say out their mouth and they went on with their life doesn't stand with you.
That's right.
It left with them. So you got to keep doing what Brandon McGee was saying.
Appreciate that.
Yes, I want to follow up with that question by saying, when did you decide that you wanted to be a politician in your life?
That's a great question. I remember I was in elementary school. I attended Annie Fisher Elementary School.
Okay.
Grew up in the projects, Westworth Village. And I remember, like it was yesterday, wanting to be the class president. I don't remember who was the class president during that time, but I had to be in like the 4th grade. I also was enamored by folks like Thurman Milner, our first African-American mayor in the Northeast.
Right.
But his home was Hartford, Connecticut.
Hey, you educated me today.
And I read about him, and I'm like, oh my God, I want to do the same thing that this man is doing. Like, we knew about Martin Luther Kings of the world and all of that.
And you're, don't say it, I'm going to say it for you.
What's that?
I read that Rosa Parks was a big influence on you, and you considered her a friend and a mentor.
That's right. And I was also a pallbearer at her funeral and through NAACP. But Thurman Milner, Carrie Saxon Perry, the first female mayor here in the city of Hartford, and other leaders, but namely those two, really had a great influence on me from afar. And I said I wanted to be like them, and I wanted to lead the city of Hartford. And this was way back when. And obviously, as we grow, we kind of hone in on our passion, who we are, what we do, our purpose in life. And it was during that time, I believe, that I was like, okay, one day I'm going to be something. I don't know what it is.
But you're going to be
But I'm going to be something. And I was in high school. Actually, I was in middle school. And I said I wanted to be the first Black president. Obviously, President Obama beat me to the punch.
Right.
But he's another person that, you know, if you really connect to your passion and you love the people, I think Cornell West, Dr. Cornell West has a quote, if you can't lead the people or love the people, you can't lead them or save them. It's a long quote, and it's a really great quote. As a matter of fact, I'll Google it and bring it up so folks can actually get the full essence of it. But you can't lead anybody if you don't really care about them.
Right.
And so that's been servant leadership.
Right.
That's been sort of my main objective in anything that I do.
Right.
So it ain't for fame, it ain't for money. It's because I love the people and I really want to see our people grow. And
this is where you grew.
This is where I grew up.
So you definitely have passion in your community. Because that was another question I was going to ask you. Because you're serving the Windsor, Hartford, Windsor?
Yep. That's my district. So I've been in office 4 terms, 2-year terms, so 6.5 years now. I started off as a young 27-year-old. It was during the census, where they would redraw the lines, the political lines. And I says, I want to run for state rep. It was an open seat. And many people told me, you can't do it. You're from a certain part of the city. You're not from money. You really don't understand this. Wait your turn. You have a future, but wait, just chill out. And
wow.
Like it was yesterday, I said, you know what? I remember when I ran for student council. You got to identify some people. You got to do your thing. And it was just that elementary, but it was so big.
It is.
And it was like, we're going to do this. We're going to do this.
Right.
And I mean, we did it. And I don't know if you read any articles during that time. I had, there was a tie vote. Then we had a recount of all the votes, a court case. And then we had to go back out again to run an entire campaign over because there was some tampering with the absentee ballots. And I called folks out. I'm like, that ballot could be for any one of us, which would break the tie.
Right.
That's not cool. You know, so a lot of people at that time, they were really upset. It was like, B, I didn't think you really needed my vote. That's why I didn't go out. I could have been that tiebreaker for you and all this other stuff. But there were a lot of moments during my first campaign that I learned, like, wow, there is power in voting. Every vote counts.
There is absolutely power in voting. And I am one of those people who have sat back and said, I know they're going to win, so I don't need to vote.
Wow.
But it also changed me when I realized that my vote could have changed something.
Absolutely.
And I also want to add that the power in itself, you know, of just people voting for you can be also discouraging at the same time. Very discouraging. And a lot of people don't vote today because they're just like giving up. Like, you know what? It doesn't even matter who you vote for anymore. Or who's to say it's promising? Why vote? But it starts there.
Take it a step further. So many people have been so let down and failed.
Yeah.
Okay. So like you can drive through many sections of this city in Hartford and you would be like, I don't even care no more. Like they don't care. I don't care.
Right.
But I believe it's a 50-50 rule in my book.
Right.
There's accountability on the elected side to make sure our electors understand this is what's happening. Here are your rights. We need to hear from you.
Right.
Okay. The other piece is you all letting us know what's important to you.
Right.
And putting pressure.
Right.
And understanding that your one vote can really, really, really vote somebody out.
It can. That one vote. And that's why the people tamper
with the ballots.
Because they really want secretly for that one person.
But let's take it back though.
Yeah.
Come on now. Civil rights movement, poll taxes, our people were suppressed, killed because they wanted to express their right. It says a lot about who we are, how far we've come, how far we need to go. But for me, it's all about the vote. But you got to take it a step further, which is why for me, and I don't want to rush your interview, but that's why I'm running for office.
No, we don't have to rush it.
Oh.
We have plenty of time.
But that's why I'm running. But I don't want to skim over like my 6.5 to 7 years that I've been on the state level. I've been able 6.5 years. 6.5 years.
That was a question of mine. Go ahead.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like 6.5 years. wasn't married, didn't have any kids, and been able to really remain committed to this role.
Right.
Now, as the chair of the Housing Committee.
I was going to get into that.
Yeah, chair of the Black and Puerto Rican Caucus.
Yep, I saw that.
And
you're involved in a lot.
Yeah.
And the one charity you just did was the
Beta Sigma Lambda, my fraternity's foundation that I'm the president of
right.
that.
And not to cut you off.
No, please.
I think you had a scholarship.
In my honor. Yeah. At Alabama State University. It's a STEM scholarship.
Now, did someone
No, I created it.
Receive that scholarship?
Yeah, we've had 2 people
who received it.
But here's the trick. Because I love my alma mater, I want young people from Hartford to attend Alabama State. Right. So you can't just get the money and go somewhere else. I want you to commit to going to Alabama State University.
Right.
And obviously fall into one of those areas of STEM.
Right. So someone that would love to walk in your shoes, that you inspire, would probably be a good candidate
Absolutely.
to go into Alabama.
I'll drive them down.
Yeah.
That's how much in love I am with the university that's helped to shape who I am, helped me to understand the importance of community, and I'm just all about it. I'm all about any historically Black college and university.
Right.
But Alabama State is where I started. And I always tell people it's where I became a man.
Right. Well, that's great to know.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm a mother, and boy, it's so scary. As a mother of 2 young men myself, I know one day I have to let go, and they have to become a man without my guidance, without my hands on them, trying to help them. That is the most devastating thing that I'm starting to face and realize that it's really hard for me to overcome.
Just to speak to that, my mom and my father were married for 30 years. Unfortunately, my father was, let's see, how can I describe it? Overwhelmed by his own sort of demons, if you would, whether it's drugs or selling of drugs. He lived a real good life, but had his struggles. One thing that my mom did during the time he was in jail or just struggling, she was very committed. Now, I love Black women. Y'all are some powerful, strong people.
Thank you.
But she made sure that I had mentors, positive male mentors who were around me that could really check me when needed to be checked with her approval.
Right.
But also made sure educationally I was connected. I was never really a sports guy. My father was like, you want to be a football player. You want to do it. So I think I played football at Hartford High for a month. I was like, yo, I'm not doing this. Put me on a debate team. That's where I want to be. I played lacrosse, tennis, all of that. But
it wasn't your thing.
That's not my thing.
My oldest is saying the same. Mom, he wants to box.
Let him box.
I'm letting him box. I brought him to a couple of programs, but we don't have something in-house that's really that I like.
I'll connect you to somebody.
Okay.
It's a little different from boxing. It's more martial arts, but a really close. Yep.
He did Muay Thai.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, so bad. That's even better.
Right.
But having those mentors around him, and the reason why I've been so committed to mentorship, there were 2 guys in particular that I really, really I would do anything that I could possibly do if they ever asked. Is my pastor and my godfather, Marshall Muntz. He's my pastor, my godfather, and my mentor.
And you're a deacon.
And I'm a deacon and an administrative pastor at the church.
Yes, I read that.
And then June Archer. I don't know if you all know June Archer, but those 2 guys.
Great mentors.
I am forever indebted to them. And our relationship, June started off through a program called Career Beginnings. And, ever since then, as I transitioned and became our relationship, and so now that's my big brother. I can sit and we could talk and we could chill, talk about our wives, our children. He can give me some tips. I can provide him some, but that's the power of mentorship.
Right.
And you as a mom, at some point you gotta let go.
Right.
Just a little.
I know.
Just a little. They don't know.
Well, he will be attending one of your programs.
Oh, good.
Hopefully,
the
one you just said. We're not here in Hartford County.
Okay.
We're in Hartford County, but we're not here in Hartford.
It's all good. He can come.
Thank you.
And then when the scholarship, we need that. We'll make sure he's good.
Thank you. That was refreshing.
But mentorship is key. That's important.
It is important because we have a lot of fatherless children out here who don't have the best role models within the home, and they need that outlet, that mentor that know, like, hey, you know, you may not have it here, but you have it right here. That's awesome. So going forward, you are running right now for mayor.
Yes, ma'am.
You served 6 years as a state representative. By the way, I was going to throw in there, it just came to my mind, just so random, that my son, my oldest, that I was speaking of, he had a field trip. So we got to like actually go in the Capitol.
Did he sit at my desk?
And I sat at your desk. Did I? Wait, I tagged you on social media.
You did something, but I remember seeing that picture.
And I was like, oh, this is his chair. And I think there was another rep too, that I don't particularly like. It's on his chair.
Who will remain nameless.
Yes, nameless. Because, you know, you have your reps and you have your mayors and your presidents. And going forward with that, you serve, back to the topic, you serve 6 years. You're going for mayor. What can we expect from you as a mayor in this community?
And I appreciate the question. My vision for the city, first of all, the why is important. Like, why am I running now?
Right.
There are some people who are saying, well, Brandon, you're a successful state rep. Why not stay there? Right. You know, why do you think your time is now? And I hate when I hear that. Like, I despise when people say, oh, yeah, it's not your time. Who are you to tell me when it's time?
Exactly. No, exactly.
But my why is too many years, our city, we've been sort of stagnated in certain areas, in neighborhoods, especially neighborhoods that I grew up in. And I'm kind of tired of it, right? I'm tired of all of the people who are returning home from the criminal justice system, still faced with the same barriers that my father faced some 40 years ago. Like, that's an issue. Small businesses literally dying because the mayor's office, quite frankly, is not leveraging its resources and power to help support small businesses. We can talk about affordable housing. We can talk about jobs. We can talk about some of the things that have worked over the years and we're not doing.
Right.
So I'm committed to the city. I'm committed to this position, not running just to kind of get to the next level as the current administration and its leader have done.
To make a difference. To make a difference and a bigger impact that you made for the last 6 years. You want to keep.
I want to transition that. I want to transition to the local level, and I'm not saying that I know everything. But I have a vision, and I know how to identify some very talented people to help me implement the vision that I'm sharing with everyone. And, you know, I told a couple people earlier, I had an interview, and they says, well, downtown is just thriving. Like, what are your thoughts about that? And I said that was one of two reasons as to why I'm running. I focused in on economic development for the better part of 5.5 years as a state rep. I wanted North Main Street where Dunn's River is and Max and, I mean, you name it, all of these small businesses that complain about the lack of infrastructure around Wi-Fi. We're in 2019.
Right.
They don't have Wi-Fi.
Right.
They don't have Wi-Fi. Like, basic.
Right. They should.
We don't have full service grocery stores, pharmacies, like the basic essentials that make up a community.
Right.
What is wrong with this picture?
I absolutely agree.
So instead of complaining about it, let's do something about it.
Let's do something about it.
I'm not new to it, so let's do it. Right? And the city should be the #1 cheerleader for all of the neighborhoods in our city, and not just downtown Hartford.
Right.
And don't get me wrong, I love a thriving downtown.
Right.
We need it.
Absolutely.
Right? Corporations, come on. Come on.
Right.
We'd love to have you here, but we have to prioritize.
Right.
Simultaneously, while we're developing downtown, we have to look at our local neighborhoods and create opportunities for growth, create opportunities for individuals to start their businesses, to live here, focus on our education. Like, we could probably spend a whole segment on education alone in the city, but that's important as well.
What would you say about the crime?
Yeah, crime is kind of cray-cray out here right now. Like, we'll talk. Like, you know,
I just love you. He's so professional, but at the same time, he's so real.
Have a little,
You're very real. I like it. It is crazy though.
The crime in our city, it's nuanced. It's complicated. Mm-hmm. It stems from a lack of opportunity. People want jobs. People need help. Mental health is real in the Black community.
It is.
And Latino community. Let me just put that out there.
And
Since we're predominant in all communities,
yeah.
But particularly Black and Latino communities have been disproportionately impacted by the lack of services provided to them around.
Yes, and
right.
Mental health is also caused and brought on from stress.
Absolutely.
Due to the community issues that we have.
Yep.
And after so many years of going through it, you give up, you turn to other. I've seen people go downhill and turn to other.
Yeah, and it's happening right here in our city. Our education system, you know, kudos to Dr. Leslie Torres Rodriguez. I think she's doing an outstanding job as our superintendent. But I think we need to do more.
Say that name again.
Leslie Rodriguez Torres, or Torres Rodriguez is a hyphenated name.
Yes.
But Leslie, really great person.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, she's cool people.
Yeah.
But she's got a lot. Yeah. It's difficult. And
it's a lot to make.
I mean, just to get back to your original question, you know, the violence, public safety, like we can't over-policing ain't gonna do it. You know what I mean? Like just because you put more police out on the street has nothing to do with combating the crime that's on the rise. And as it gets warmer, more things happen.
Right.
Our young people need jobs. Parents need jobs. You talk about blighted property throughout our city. You talk about like trash in our city. That's all traumatizing. Yeah. And we don't know what many of these kids are going through when they do go home. Like homeless, it's got a new face on it now. Young people are not necessarily sleeping on the streets, but they couch surfing. Right. Because they don't know where they... So like there's a lot that our kids deal with, a lot that our families have to deal with. And we're telling them as a government, oh, go fix yourself up. You'll be fine. Right. And that's not cool. It's not cool. But it all results to a lot of angry people walking around, really shooting, killing each other. Angry with their circumstances. Absolutely. Angry with... And I think that Nipsey, what's his name? Nipsey Hussle. I think his death was a great wake-up call in our community. The communities of color. Right. Sorry he had to go, and I really didn't even know who he was until his death. Which is unfortunate because he was doing so many great things. But we had a conversation locally, like, what does his death mean to people, young people in the city of Hartford? I want to just say this because I know who Nipsey Hussle was before he passed away. But I want to say... Because you're from California. Right. And I just want to say, like, overall, an answer to what you said about the community and the individuals that are angry and how it relates to crime and so forth. It starts with that one person. That's it. And it's unfortunate that that one person may not have the capability, excuse me, to fight past those insecurities, to push forward out of those shortcoming jobs, welfare, Section 8, needing an education, going to strive and go locate and seek out an adult ed here that they have here in Hartford. And because I know personally individuals that don't want to wake up in the morning and sit down and say, this is what I need to do, and this is how I'm going to do it. And it's sad because I feel like the government sees it that way. Plays on it because they feel like if they do it, I'm pretty sure they schemed and fought and strived to get where they are. That's right. And they feel like the next person can do the same thing. Why lend a hand and help them when I had to do this by myself? That is how a lot of people think. And I experienced it myself. Even yourself. Like when you share your story about you running for mayor or being a state rep, people want to tell you that's enough. That's enough because they don't feel that they can reach your, your status and they don't want to see you go further. You're intimidating enough for them to tell you that you can't go further. And unfortunately, we're going to keep striving to the day we pass, to the day we die. We're going to keep striving. We're going to keep doing all these positive things, and may God be with us. But it starts with the person themselves. And it's frustrating. It's frustrating because you can only help so many. You can only reach so many.
Like Nipsey Hussle, he reached so many until he passed away, and then he was like reaching everyone.
Yeah.
And I want to tap into that really quick. He did live the gang life a little bit.
Yeah, he did.
And when you live the street life versus the positive life, and trying to uplift and so forth, and all those great things, that life can come back and haunt you. It's attached to you in a sense, forever, and it's a lesson in itself. So now his death has exposed that. It has exposed the good and exposed the bad. And people pass away, they always talk about the good and the bad. So yes, it was a wake up call.
But
it was definitely a wake up
call.
The
last piece, which I think is important when you talk about public safety and the crime, is really coordinating with a lot of the nonprofits and institutions that provide the critical, well thought out support, right? But making sure it's all sort of interconnected and it's not like just pieces. And I know we have a lot of organizations in Hartford that are trying to work toward that.
Right. You have a lot.
But I'm not certain that they've been given sort of the space and platform to do that.
Right.
To utilize their expertise.
Right. That's hard in itself. And that's where we do need that support and that help, because we're trying to make a difference.
That's right.
So at least give the individuals that are trying to make a difference that support and help.
And utilizing the people who are closest to the problem.
Exactly.
Right? So we might need, I have an uncle named Pookie, so I'm just going to use his name. We need, cousin Pookie, to come out and to help to mentor these young men. Right? We'll need cousin Pookie coming in talking crazy.
Exactly.
But utilize his or her story to say, you don't want to go down that path. Here's what I've done to make it right. You know what I mean? And I don't think we capitalize on those stories. We use scare tactics, which it ain't always good.
Right.
But I think there's a way that we can address the crime in our city. I really do.
I really do too. I really feel like someone has to do it.
I don't know if you're going to ask a question about this, but I want to put it in there.
No, absolutely.
Affordable housing. As chair of the housing committee, one of the things that I said I wanted to focus on was addressing the blighted property in this city. And some of the conditions that our people live in right now is horrible.
Horrible.
Okay.
Yes.
Some of the situations that I've witnessed on my own, I'm like, I wouldn't even allow my animal to live in these conditions. And these mothers, they get up, put on their clothes, go to work, and gotta live that all over again every single day. And there's so many injustices in this city that are not being checked. That's an issue. That's an issue.
Yeah.
And I don't believe that the current mayor or any other mayor would live in a situation like that.
No.
And the thing is, a lot of this is not coming out the coffers of the city. HUD is paying these horrible landlords who are getting supplement. They're getting all of their money on their end and robbing the citizens or the residents in the city.
They're not putting the money to where it needs to go.
It's crazy. Yeah. It's crazy. So there are a couple organizations, mainly Christian Activities Council and others, who have been fighting and representing a lot of families. And I've been so honored to work with them on that. But it's real.
Yes.
It's real. I'm talking about rodents and water coming from the ceiling.
Now that's when I was like, it's 2019. Rodents, roaches.
I don't even really ants in my house.
Okay, there shouldn't be an ant, a ladybug, nothing.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
So what I did on the state level was establish some policy that would close the loophole for LLCs in these slum landlords, to just run. When fines come, they create shell organizations.
Okay.
Now what would happen is they would have to register them personally, whoever is the financial benefactor or beneficiary, excuse me, would have to file within a certain amount of days, so that we'll always know where he or she is, just in case you get it twisted. We need to find you.
That's good.
But there's so many great opportunities in our city. We just don't have a person who is really a champion for all of Hartford, and that's the person that I want to be.
Right. We want to support you. And with that being said, real quick, I want to get so much out of you.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
Why did you choose the Democratic Party?
That's cool. That's a great question because I struggle with parties, but I also know the history of the Democratic Party. I've been a Democrat since I was able to vote. And at the time, it was the only vehicle for me to run for state rep. And that's pretty much
Democratic Party was the only
sort of vehicle for me to use in order to get on the ballot, to get some local dollars to help me with the campaign, which they didn't really share a lot. But the more I've grown in my position, I like to align with issues versus a party. But because the government is set up as such,
right,
you find yourself on one side or the other, or a third party, working families, or an independent. But you find yourself in one of these categories.
Right.
And now you have representatives like Johanna Hayes and Castellano, I think, is that her name?
Yes.
From New York.
And there's another one who's running.
You have, so it's like 6 of us.
Yes.
You have the former mayor, you have the current mayor, you have former Board of Education Craig Stallings. He's running, Stan McCauley, Aaron Lewis, and myself. Yeah, I'm the 6th person. I'm like, who's the 6th person? So they're all running.
Right.
All great people. Happy for them. But I am very interested in meeting as many people as I possibly can. And I know we have an opportunity to win.
Absolutely. So being in that vehicle, are you supposed to fight for certain things that vehicle has had history and
the Democratic Party?
Yes.
No.
Or do you, will you have the right and ability to actually go in there and actually strategize what you feel?
Absolutely. Here's an example.
The Democratic Party.
That's a great question. Keep in mind, I utilize the party as a vehicle to create a platform for me to share the issues that are near and dear to the people who voted me in office. So when you talk about criminal justice reform, folks didn't want to talk about that, even the Democratic Party. We just now are coming around to this idea of creating opportunities for people when in fact it's their right.
From the Democratic
Party, right? So don't get me wrong. We've done some great things. We're just slow to change.
Right.
And
because of the history of the Democratic Party.
That's right.
That's why it was interesting to see you. Yep. I was like, okay, we got to sit down and talk.
Yeah.
Yes.
So for me, now that I have this platform, I'm fighting the issues that are near and dear, number one, to the people who have elected me, but it also is coupled with what I'm passionate about as well.
Absolutely.
And I'm talking about unapologetically fighting for people of color and fighting for people in my district, which is very diverse.
Right.
But sometimes those issues don't align with the Democratic Party.
Right.
And that's okay with me.
That's okay. You're not afraid to speak out on that.
I am not.
And still make changes.
I'm not. Because I didn't sign up to do the status quo.
Right. You didn't
if that were
to be a puppet.
No, can't do it. But I do know how to sit down, know how to negotiate, talk to you. We can agree to disagree. It took a little time. I used to walk away angry, like, no, people don't understand, blah, blah, blah. No, sometimes you got to just listen. I'll share with you where I am.
Right.
And here's why. Statistically, factually, why I stand on what I stand on. And I'm not going to be swayed. Right. So, when we talk about the plight of poor people, the inequalities, and meaningful wages, I'm going to say what I have to say.
Right.
And some people ain't going to like it, but it's definitely for the good.
Let's be clear.
Yeah. Completely clear. Like, seriously.
We definitely love that.
Yeah.
Here at BCLEARTV, we support you.
I have a question for you. This is your show. So this is what I struggle with.
I'm scared.
As a 35-year-old who is very much on sort of the brink of sort of like old school, new school, but very solid. How can we get the message out to millennials and folks in our age group that want to see change, but they're also on this whole, I'm doing me. Right? I'm doing me. I don't care. Like, I'm making my money. I'm good. Community, okay, I'll read, but I'm good.
Right.
Like, how do we get them to the table so that the conversation is deeper, the table is much larger? How do we get, I'm saying millennials, but how do we get those folks who are just like, I don't get CNN, I don't understand.
Who has given up the interest, yeah, who has given up. I personally started here with my show. Got it. It started with the idea of reaching out with my TV show, with the urban, like you said, the old school, and the topics. Mm. This show, most importantly, is why I did this show with you.
That's what's up.
Entertainment, that's my passion. Mm-hmm. But being that I have a platform and I'm building a platform, I have to be responsible with it. Mm-hmm. And it's hard sometimes because you want to bluntly say how you feel, but you don't want it to come across.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, and people
that's my life story.
And people are very judgmental of me.
All the time.
You know, they'll judge me if I say the realest thing just because I said it and how I said it. Yep. And it's something that I have to live with, but it's like, I can't be nothing but myself. The truth and the facts. I just want to be clear, and understood. And if I'm wrong, like you said, we can agree to disagree, and we can talk about it. And I'm going to listen because there's always another side of, how someone else is looking at it. You know what I mean? I read in the Hartford Current how I feel like they try to twist things and expose you for the norm.
Yep. I'm glad that you brought up that article. As a matter of fact, I announced my candidacy on January 28th. I believe it was a Monday or a Tuesday. And no sooner than maybe 2 days after, you have this article coming out. Oh, he owes taxes. Right. Not back taxes. He owes taxes.
Right.
And it was
during the fact while you're running.
Yeah, it was crazy. But like I said in the paper, I am just like any other resident in this city, and the way taxes are paid, you pay them right in April, and you move forward. You are unable to register your car if taxes are unpaid. So, all of what they were trying to do, which was to make me look like, oh, he's not ready, or he can't do it because of X, Y, and Z. It was very random, and it was like so uncalled for.
Right.
But I do know this. I signed up to run for mayor. Municipal politics, local politics are very much different than state politics, and I knew it would get messy. Right. And I'm sure it's going to get messier. But what I do know is
I just want to touch
it was petty.
Right.
It was so petty.
I wanted to touch on that. It's petty. It's irrelevant. It showed the scandal side of politics.
Yeah.
Run for these positions and show the scandalous side of it.
But I'm not glossing over the fact people pay your taxes. Right. All right. And pay them on time.
Right.
Right. My taxes are paid.
Right.
They weren't backed. Right. Back taxes.
They weren't back taxes.
And they were very current.
Right.
And, I'm just like every working individual in this city. Right. I work part-time as a state representative on a state representative salary. Right. I also work for a local nonprofit. So I'm making ends meet just like anybody else. Right. Right. But I also know because I signed up for this position comes the attack, comes, let's dig up dirt, on Brandon McGee. And I'm cool with it. Right. I'm cool with it. So I appreciate you asking that question, but y'all pay y'all taxes so that folks won't put you in the newspaper in the Hartford Current.
We're talking to viewers and we're talking to.
Oh yeah, sorry. We got a whole bunch going on.
He was wondering.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So make sure when you record, that's gonna be keep the blooper.
We have tons of bloopers.
But for the live audience, I'm really happy that you asked that question.
Yes.
And
I'm glad you're comfortable to answer it because it's about being clear. It's about addressing the issue.
It. And I also know addressing things head on is always important.
Right.
Ain't no need to run around the block.
Right. Be clear.
Look me up.
Say how you feel. and keep it moving.
That's it.
I absolutely agree. I appreciate your answer. I like your answer.
Yeah.
Because it's like people forget that you're human.
And it's so funny. My wife, going back to my wife, she told me, she said, Brandon, make sure you call and take care of the taxes.
Right.
I'll remind you. Well, she reminded me, and I still was so busy getting prepared for the announcement, never called to do it.
Right.
Because that's just a part of checking off the box. Just make sure you pay. That's the first place folks going to look is at car taxes.
But can I tell you something?
What?
I myself have owned car taxes.
Mm-hmm.
And do you remember when they passed the law?
I remember that.
Where if you owed car taxes, that if you got pulled over by a police officer, they could take your car right there on the spot.
That's right.
And I want to tell you a story. I was driving one afternoon to pick up my youngest. This is when he was in pre-K. I'm driving there and a cop pulls me over.
Wow.
And I have my oldest in the back seat. And he said, you owe $350 of car taxes. And if you don't pay it now, $350. And he said, if you don't pay it now, I have to take your car. And I'm like, well, it's not payday. I got to get my son to school.
Yeah.
How am I going to pay you right now? He was like, you would have to follow me to City Hall and pay the car taxes.
Wow. That's crazy.
I made a phone call, had someone meet me at City Hall to pay it for me, and I paid them back. And I'm just letting you know this.
But those are real life situations.
These are real life situations.
Yeah.
And he followed me to pre-K and waited outside while I went and signed my son out of HRA and brought him back to the car and drove to the car. I'm
telling you, I remember like it was yesterday. And it was also during the time, this is another role that I hold as director of a nonprofit in the town of Windsor. Our executive director, unfortunately, had an untimely death. So we were just sworn in as state officials, untimely death, announcement of my candidacy. So there was a lot going on. And my wife was like, I told you should have paid, Right. And I'm like, look, I'm human. I forgot.
And that is my message. Like, we're all human.
Yeah.
I am a single mother.
Yep.
I cover all my ends in my household by myself.
Yep.
So if one is sacrificed or missed for another, but I got to double back and fix that other one, by all means necessary.
Yep.
There's nothing wrong with that.
But I know the difference between my story and others, yours included, that I signed up for it, and I know what comes along with it. So I just said, you got it.
Right. I'm glad that you touched on it the way you did, because you spoke respectfully and honestly about it. And I just did not like the way they tried to paint a picture. I said, if you get to be in the paper, can I be in the paper too and be famous because I owe taxes?
It was crazy. I mean,
but you signed up, like you said, you signed up for it. This is the part that comes with it. And I told you myself earlier, like, as humble as you are, there is a time where you're going to have to not be so humble because of your position as a politician.
I struggle with that.
Yeah.
I struggle, if I'm hearing your comment question correctly.
Right.
I struggle with rattling off, oh yeah, guess what? I did this. And if it wasn't for me, I guess I need to turn it up a little bit.
No.
My mentors have always told me, you have to allow for your work to speak for itself.
Yes.
But again, in the world of politics, sometimes you got to remind folks that, yes, I've been here, I've done that. I didn't just show up yesterday.
Right.
And I've been working on policy and programs in our community and bringing money back home to the district.
Right. But that's why you're in the position you're in, and you're running for what you're running for, because you've been there and you're showing people as a leader in our community.
Oh yeah, we're looking at this camera.
We all have started here, and we're climbing the ladder.
Yep.
And we commend you on that today.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. So going forward, we are to wrap up the interview. I could talk to you forever.
I know. We can just sit here.
So we commend you on your running for mayor.
Yes, ma'am.
We support you. I will be reaching out to you for your mentor program. For the young youth. And it was a pleasure today. Is there anything you'd like to tell the people?
I would. First of all, thank you to BCLEARTV and all that you all are doing to provide a platform for folks like me to share my voice and my platform. As mayor, I'd love to support this effort, but also utilizing the resources and opportunities that this BCLEARTV affords people. So maybe we could have a BCLEAR, TV down at City Hall, providing a voice to those in the city. But that stuff is not going to happen if I don't have the support from folks like you that are watching the show. If you heard anything that resonated, please reach out to me. Give me a call. Let me know your thoughts. But most importantly, we need volunteers and we need a little bit of money to help to continue this campaign. So that said, vote for Team McGee September 10th. Again, September 10th. And if you're not registered to vote, hit me up. We'll make sure you get registered. It's going to be very clear.
Yes, very clear. With that being said, this is AmeerahCleara with Brandon McGee, and we are signing off. BCLEARTV. BCLEARTV. BCLEARTV.